Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. For today's video, I know I say this almost every single time, but today's video is a little bit different. Today we're going to talk about Father's Day, actually. We're going to talk about the need for fathers in our society. Something that I think we are missing to a large degree. I think that's a major problem in our society. I mentioned Father's Day. That's what spurred this on. I had to work Father's Day, this past Sunday. And, I woke up at 4:30 in the morning while my family was still asleep. I'm downstairs drinking my coffee, getting my breakfast and stuff ready. And I was thinking about Father's Day and what it means to me. I was thinking about making like the obligatory social media post about Father's Day, because everyone has to say something about Father's Day. And my thoughts in my mind went to a place, and the post I ended up making was Father's Day has become a day where we celebrate an endangered species. And, I'm providing commentary on the fact that I think that our society has become a place where there's just not a lot of fathers anymore, and it's sad, and it shows. It's caused a lot of problems in our society, something that doesn't make me happy. And it's when I say things like that, I want to challenge these men who have children to take an active role in their lives and be more of a father. As a police officer, I see the impact all the time. I'm always interacting with because I work in a very impoverished neighborhood, and being a single parent in these neighborhoods makes it even that much harder. It's a tremendous strain on our financial system, on our social welfare system, and then you also have these kids that don't have two-parent homes. That now some of them, even if they had both parents in the home, would still be out there committing crimes. But I do believe that there's a significant portion of kids out there that are committing these violent crimes and stealing these cars and all that if they had a father in the home, they wouldn't be committing these crimes. I think it's a big deal. And a lot of the times that I'm at a house interacting with these children, it's because a single mother has called the police. She's unable to control her kids, and she needs that father figure, that male influence in the house. So I therefore, get interjected into that situation. And that's kind of my first thought when it comes to Father's Day. Then, kind of as the day went on, I'm scrolling down through Facebook and Instagram and everything, and this meme was everywhere, and it's been everywhere for the last few years. And it's something that I find amusing, and it's where there's a bus trying to cross a train track, and there's a freight train coming, and the bus is symbolic of dads who are just trying to enjoy their Father's Day, their day with their kids, where the kids give them, I got like a t-shirt and a couple pairs of underwear, and I got a macaroon. When they went on vacation with my in-laws, they brought me home a macaroon cookie. I'm there just enjoying my day, and then you have these single moms that are smashing you off the track saying, "I'm a dad too." It signifies a lot of things in our society. It kind of highlights the fact that there's so many single moms out there that don't have that the father of their children, that the man that they had children with is not doing his job of being a father. But it kind of speaks to this idea in our society that everybody needs attention all the time. And if you're going to recognize one person, you have to recognize these other people. I think there's a fallacy in that kind of logic. It's okay to recognize somebody else and just let that person be recognized. We have this concept of one-upmanship that happens all the time, where if you tell a story about something that either you did really well or something good that happened to you, somebody else has to come along and try to top that story and kind of steal your thunder and get the spotlight back on them. That's what this is kind of about. I saw it. I thought it was funny. But at the same time, I know that it's something that makes people defensive, and it doesn't speak to my true emotions of the day. And so what I did is I actually put some thought into this, and I made this post, and I put it up on my social media, and I said, to the single moms out there watching their kids on Father's Day, thank you for being a good mom, but Father's Day is not for you too. Only a man can be a father. We've already diminished the role of men in our society enough. We shouldn't be pretending that a woman can be a father too, or that women can be fathers too. I posted this on my Instagram on Facebook, and I got a positive reaction. And then also when I saw this meme on Facebook in a couple places, I actually posted mine in the comments, and that's where things got interesting. And the only reason I bring up those comments is because it gives me the opportunity to kind of further explain my point, and also just kind of show that people in our society, when they see something, they immediately get defensive and they're looking for a way to attack somebody rather than just maybe consider what this person is saying. Because the people who got mad at me and were angry with me and lashing out at me, I guarantee if I sat down and went over this point by point with them, they would actually understand what I was saying, and they would probably agree with me. But I got things like people were accusing me of supporting deadbeat dads. And I also had people tell me that I don't understand what it's like for single moms out there. And then they would challenge the idea that we are diminishing the role of men in our society. So those are the things that I want to talk about today. And like, firstly, when it comes to understanding what it's like for single mothers out there, I do understand what it's like for single mothers out there. I'm not a woman and I don't have children, that I'm having to raise by myself, but I did experience that as a child. I didn't grow up in a palace. I grew up in a single parent home. I remember the day that my father left. I was a little over 2 years old. My brother was a toddler or an infant. He was probably under 6 months old. I remember watching my dad throw my brother onto the couch and go storming out of the house. I remember my mom screaming and crying, picking up my brother, going to the door, and pleading for my dad not to leave. I was there for that. I was aware. I also remember the days when I was 5, 6, 7 years old, where I would come home on a Friday night and I knew that it was my dad's visitation weekend, because we did the every other weekend type thing plus holidays, and you know how that goes. And I would come home from school, I would run upstairs, I would pack my bag. I had this little gray duffel bag with a single zipper down the middle and the hands. It would have been like a gym bag for people back in the 80s. And put my stuff in it, and I'd put some of my toys in there so I could show my dad what I'd been up to and all that. And I would go downstairs and I would stand by the door. I remember standing by the door, pulling the curtain aside, looking through the window, waiting for my dad to show up. And often he would not show. I remember standing there for hours thinking he's just running late, maybe he had a flat tire. Surely he's going to make it. And he wouldn't. There were many weekends where I was supposed to be with my dad and I didn't get to go because he just didn't show up. I remember my mom coming and dragging me away from the door. I remember how angry I was. I remember kicking and screaming, literally kicking my mom in the shins and yelling at her and telling her that I hate her. I know what it was like. I'm not diminishing the role that a single mother plays. As I said in the post, if you're a single mom out there taking care of your kids, thank you for being a good mom. Father's Day is not for you too. That goes on to people saying that I am encouraging deadbeat dads and I'm making excuses for them and all that other stuff. And that kind of speaks to the overall point that I'm trying to make here. A mom is a mom. A good mom is truly a blessing. But a mom cannot be a dad. And then, they'll say, well, you're encouraging deadbeat dads that don't pay for their kids, all that other stuff. I've experienced that as well. My dad died when I was about 13 years old. And I can tell you that the child support did not get paid until after he died, because the government then picked up what he was supposed to be paying in child support. When I was a kid, we didn't always have food. We didn't always have new shoes. We didn't always have heat and electricity. I know what it means to go through that as a child. I also think that if you are diminishing, if you're saying that, emotionally, because one person said, my mom taught me how to fish. She taught me how to fix my car and all these other things. I didn't need a dad. I had my mom. If you're saying that a mom can fulfill that role plus the role of a father, that the only thing a father needs to do is provide financial support for his children, you're diminishing the role of a father, you're sending a message to these guys that they can go out there and get all these girls pregnant, and that the only thing that they need to do is provide a little bit of financial support, that these kids don't need fathers, they've got mothers. And that's the wrong message. I think that when you're sharing that message, you're actually encouraging more deadbeat dads. You're encouraging more guys to get women pregnant and not fulfill their obligations. The obligations are a lot more broad and deep than what we as a society are demanding. And it can be as simple as teaching your children or showing your children an example of a good man, somebody that they will interact with in the future, and being an example of a good man for your children. This is something that a woman cannot do. This is something that only a man can do, only a father can do. I have 2 girls. One of the most important things, sorry, there's someone's over there cutting onions. One of the most important things that I can do for my daughters is show them what a good man is and give them a measuring stick to measure other men against. I want to provide an example to them of somebody that they should try to emulate, or that they should try to spend the rest of their lives with. I want to provide that example for them so that when they're older, they can find happiness, and they'll find an example of the right thing to do through watching me. I want them to know how to interact with a grown man, and I want them to know what a good example of a grown man is, so that when they're searching for somebody to spend the rest of their life with, they have a good example. Similarly, if I had 2 boys, which I do not, but fathers of boys, their job is to provide a good role model for their sons so that their sons can grow up to be good men. These are things that a woman cannot do. A woman can do her best to provide her insight as a mother and try to impact her children that way. But it's different. It's from the perspective of a mother. It's from the perspective of a woman. It's not from the perspective of a father. For some reason and somehow we've gotten to this point in our society where they're trying to tell you that there's no difference between men and women, that there is no difference between the 2 genders. That is a lie. There are very specifically defined differences between men and women. Men and women evolved differently for different purposes. And it's important that children have examples of both while they're growing up, so that they can be appropriately functioning members of our society, I guess you could say. So I don't know. I think that we as a society need to do more to show the value of a man in a relationship and put more pressure on men who have children, not only to have those children, but to be fathers to those children. And we shouldn't be sending this message that it's completely okay for women to be raising children without men. There's going to be people that are thrust into that circumstance and they're forced to do the best with what they can, but that is not a replacement for having both parents. I honestly believe that that is a significant portion of the challenges that we face as a society, is this devaluation of the family and having both parents in the home. So I don't know. If you're still with me, thank you for watching. I'll talk to you guys later.